Sarah lived in a world of grey. It was the colour of her feelings, a heavy fog wrapped around her heart. She moved through her days like a ghost. No bright light reached her soul. Shadows whispered doubts into her mind. They stole her precious energy. Her spirit felt incredibly tired. Mornings were the hardest part. Each new day was just a repeat. She went to work, then came home. There was no joy in her routine, just a dull ache of existing. She felt invisible to everyone else. People walked past her on the street. This was her difficult everyday reality. In Sarah's world, all the colours had faded. Joy was a word she remembered, but she could not feel its warmth. Laughter sounded distant, like it was for others. Food tasted bland, even her favourite meals. Music did not stir her heart anymore. Everything was muted, covered in grey dust. The vibrancy of life seemed to avoid her. She pulled away from friends, from family. It was easier to be alone with the grey. She built walls around her heart. They kept others out, but also trapped her inside. The isolation grew with each passing day. She felt utterly and completely alone. One Tuesday, the grey felt particularly heavy and oppressive. Sarah was walking home from work, her steps slow and deliberate. Her head was down, watching her feet move one step at a time. The sky was overcast, matching her mood perfectly. She was just trying to get through the day, feeling utterly exhausted. She expected nothing different, nothing new. Then something small yet significant happened. A stranger ahead was carrying a large, overflowing bag, struggling with its weight. Suddenly the bag tore open wide, spilling its contents. Books and papers scattered on the sidewalk, creating a mess. The stranger looked flustered, almost in tears, overwhelmed by the situation. People hurried past, barely glancing. Without thinking, Sarah moved instinctively. She knelt and started to gather the items, her hands moving quickly. The stranger smiled, a genuine, warm smile that lit up their face. That small act of kindness lingered. It was a simple gesture, perhaps insignificant to the giver, but to Sarah, it meant the world. It was a moment that broke through the monotony of her day, a day that had been filled with the usual greyness and solitude. This tiny act was like a pebble thrown into a still pond, creating ripples that extended far beyond the initial splash. It stayed with Sarah all evening. As she sat by her window, watching the sun dip below the horizon, she couldn't help but replay the moment in her mind. The warmth of the gesture contrasted sharply with the coolness of the evening air, making it all the more poignant. The stranger's smile kept replaying in her mind. It was a genuine smile, one that reached the eyes and conveyed a sense of understanding and connection. It was a smile that said, "I see you," and in that moment Sarah felt truly seen. The warmth in their voice echoed. It was a voice that carried kindness and empathy, a voice that broke through the barriers Sarah had built around herself. It was a voice that made her feel less alone in a world that often felt isolating. It was like a tiny candle flame, flickering bravely in a vast darkness. This small light, though fragile, had the power to push back the shadows, even if just a little. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, a small light could make a difference. She found herself thinking about it instead of her usual sad thoughts. This was a welcome change, a break from the cycle of negativity that often consumed her. It was a moment of peace, a moment where she could breathe a little easier. This was a small but noticeable change. It was a shift in her emotional landscape, a shift that brought with it a sense of possibility. It was a reminder that change, no matter how small, was possible. A subtle shift began in her perception. The world, which had seemed so bleak and uninviting, now held a hint of warmth. It was as if a veil had been lifted, allowing her to see the beauty that had been there all along. The greyness did not seem quite so thick. The colours of the sunset seemed a little more vibrant, the air a little more crisp. It was a small change, but it made a world of difference. The edges of her world felt a little less sharp. The harshness of reality was softened by the memory of that kind gesture. It was a buffer against the difficulties she faced, a reminder that there was still good in the world. That tiny spark of connection had done something. It had bridged a gap, created a link between two souls. It was a reminder that we are all connected, that our actions, no matter how small, can have a profound impact on others. It had introduced a hint of warmth, a very gentle, subtle glow. This glow was enough to light up the corners of her heart. that had long been shrouded in darkness. It was a gentle reminder of the power of kindness. For that brief moment on the sidewalk, Sarah had felt seen, truly seen. It was a feeling she had not experienced in a long time, a feeling that made her feel alive and connected to the world around her, not as a ghost, but as a person who could help. This realization was empowering, a reminder that she had value and could make a difference in the lives of others. This feeling was surprisingly powerful. It was a boost to her self-esteem, a reminder that she was capable and worthy of love and kindness. It was a reminder of connection, a reminder that she was part of humanity. This sense of belonging was something she had been missing, and it filled a void she had long ignored. This one simple act of kindness started to dispel some of the darkness. It was a small light in a vast expanse of night, but it was enough to guide her forward. It made a little space for something that felt like hope. This hope was fragile, but it was there, a seed that had been planted and was beginning to grow. The internal shift started to take root. It grew slowly, day by day. Sarah started to notice other small things. The way the sun felt on her skin, the cheerful chirping of a bird outside, the taste of her morning coffee. These were things she had ignored for so long. Now they brought tiny sparks of gentle pleasure. The world was slowly regaining some texture. She found herself looking up more often. She saw the sky, the trees, the faces of people. Some faces were tired, like hers had been. Some were smiling, some were thoughtful. She felt a new, tentative curiosity about them. The world seemed less of a threat, more like a place of possibilities. A place where small, good things could happen. This was a significant change in her outlook. Hope was beginning to blossom quietly within her. Sarah began to tentatively reach out. It wasn't easy for her. She had been in a dark place for so long, but something inside her whispered that it was time to change, to embrace the light that she had been avoiding. She called an old friend she had neglected. The phone rang, and with each ring, her heart pounded harder. When her friend answered, Sarah's voice trembled, but she pushed through. The conversation was a little awkward at first, but then it became easier, warmer. They laughed about old times and shared stories of their lives. It was as if no time had passed at all. She started saying good morning to her colleagues. At first it felt strange, but soon she noticed the smiles she received in return. It was a small gesture, but it made a big difference. She smiled at the person at the checkout counter. The cashier's face lit up, and Sarah felt a warmth spread through her chest. These small interactions were beginning to change her. These were small steps, brave steps for her. Each one was a victory, a testament to her courage and determination to change her life. Each small connection added another drop of light. It was as if she was slowly filling a jar with tiny, glowing fireflies, each one representing a moment of connection and joy. It felt good to connect with others again. She had forgotten how much she enjoyed these simple interactions, how they made her feel alive. She realized how much she missed it, the laughter, the shared moments, the feeling of being part of something bigger than herself. She started to find joy in simple beauty, the colors of a sunset, the delicate petals of a flower, the way the light danced on the water. The colors of a sunset amazed her. She would stand there watching the sky transform, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. The intricate patterns of a leaf fascinated her. She would spend minutes just looking at it, marveling at the complexity and beauty of nature. She bought a small plant for her apartment. It was a symbol of her new beginning, a reminder that she was capable of nurturing life. Watching it grow brought her quiet happiness. Each new leaf, each small bud was a sign of progress, of life moving forward. These small joys were like gentle whispers. They told her that she was on the right path, that she was healing. They told her that life could be beautiful, that even in the darkest times there was always a glimmer of light, a reason to keep going, that there was still goodness in the world. She began to see it everywhere, in the kindness of strangers, in the beauty of nature, in the laughter of friends. Her heart was opening up slowly. With each small step, each moment of connection, she was embracing the light, and it was transforming her life. The stranger's kindness was a powerful catalyst. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary, a simple act that carried profound significance. In a world often filled with indifference, this small gesture stood out like a beacon of hope. It did not magically solve all her problems. Life's challenges remained, and the road ahead was still fraught with obstacles. Yet, this act of kindness provided a glimmer of hope, a reminder that she was not alone in her struggles. But it was the spark that started everything. It ignited a sense of possibility within her, a belief that change was within reach. This small spark had the power to light up even the darkest corners of her life. It showed her that change was possible, that even in the face of adversity there was a path forward. This newfound hope began to transform her outlook, filling her with a sense of purpose and determination. It reminded her that she was not alone. In moments of despair, the memory of that kindness became a source of comfort. It was a reminder that there were people who cared, even if they were strangers. That single, simple act of helping, it opened a door that had been closed for so long. It was as if a new world had been revealed to her, one where compassion and empathy could make a real difference. It was the first step on her journey, a journey from darkness into a gentle light. Each step forward was a testament to the power of human connection and the impact of small acts of kindness. The importance of that human connection was immense. It was a lifeline, a thread that wove through the fabric of her life, providing strength and resilience. It was a lifeline thrown to someone adrift. In a sea of uncertainty, this act of kindness was an anchor, grounding her and giving her the courage to face her challenges. In that moment of shared effort on the sidewalk, Sarah felt a sense of belonging. The collective energy of people coming together for a common cause was invigorating. It was a reminder that we are stronger together. She felt valued, even by a stranger. This validation from someone she had never met before was a powerful affirmation of her worth. It was a reminder that every individual has intrinsic value. This reminded her of our shared humanity. Despite our differences, we are all connected by the simple fact of being human. This realization fostered a sense of unity and compassion within her. We are all connected in invisible ways. Our actions, our words, and our gestures create ripples that extend far beyond our immediate surroundings. This interconnectedness is the essence of our shared humanity. Our actions, no matter how small they seem, they can have a ripple effect on others. A single act of kindness can set off a chain reaction, touching lives in ways we may never fully understand. This realization stayed with her deeply. It became a guiding principle in her life, a reminder of the power of kindness and the profound impact we can have on each other.